Hey folks, this is Shetz. I was hoping you would tell me what problem to do, but I just decided to pick problem 2 from slide 16. And it's 3 sine 2/3 x. Well, this number in front we know is the amplitude. So that's going to be a 3. That means we're going to go way up to a 3. And I absolutely love this graph. I'll talk about that in a minute, the way this is set up. But obviously, sine graph, we're going to go, this is again amplitude. So we're going to go all the way up to a 3 and all the way down to a -3. Now, have you ever looked at a tape measure? And I'll give you an example using this graph. See how this line is the longest line? And then this is second. And then these two guys are the shortest. Well, if this was a tape measure, this would be the inch. Then the next longest line would be the 1/2 inch. And then the next line would be 1/4. And if I split that in half, this would be an 1/8. And that would be really small. And then we just count. Well, if I'm counting by quarters, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. So I do expect you to do that when you're setting up your graph. Now again, we have our first one, second, third, fourth, and fifth. There's 5 critical points. So let me get rid of this example. And I only showed this for a ruler because this is longer, then this is second longest, and then this is the smallest. If I even had a smaller one, that would be an 1/8. 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, 8/8. So again, all I'm doing is freaking counting. Okay, so we learned yesterday that this was our period, and it's going to make 2/3 of a cycle in its normal 2 pi. Okay. Well, you might say, Shetz, that really doesn't help us out. Well, if you recall our rule, and I think I have it right here. Let me look for it. See how that goes under 2 pi? We'll get rid of this other junk. This goes under 2 pi. So let's go back to my paper that I was working on. And I can't find it. Here it is, we're back. So we have to put 2/3 under 2 pi. And notice, 2 pi over 2/3. Well, when you divide by a fraction, you invert and multiply. The 2's are going to cancel, and we're left with 3 pi. So my period, and again, we only have to graph it for one cycle. Just one cycle. So I would strongly suggest that you make this right here 3 pi. Okay, well then what's half of 3 pi? 3 pi divided by 2. And let's just do that. Okay, great. That's halfway mark. Now what's half of this? Well, when you take half of something, you put a 2 in the denominator. So guess what this is going to be? This is going to be 3 pi over 4. And that's what we're counting by. 3 pi over 4. 6 pi over 4. 9 pi over 4. So let me write that down. And 12 pi over 4. Well, isn't 12 over 4 3? See, I told you you were going to get very good with fractions. So let's just review what we did. We put the number in front of x, we put it under 2 pi, invert and multiply, and you get 3 pi. So one cycle, that's this guy, And I like my graph here than what's on your worksheet. If I actually gave you a quiz, it would have been blank like this, and you could fill it in yourself. So this is 3 pi. Half of 3 pi is 3 pi over 2. Half of that, put another 2 in the denominator, because we're dividing it by 2. You stick a 2 in the denominator. That gives me a 4 in the denominator. So this is what we're counting by. 3 pi over 4. 3, 6, 9, 12. Ta-da! Shets, you are just so freaking amazing. Now let's graph this bad boy. We're going to graph it in blue. Hey folks, this is a normal sine curve. Guess what? Sine starts even Steven, goes high, crosses, goes low, and crosses. And let's see how pretty I can make these curved lines. We're almost done, folks. Oh, it's getting good. Should have gone a little bit higher. Oh, that's beautiful. And look how curvy and sweet they are. There you go, folks. Hey, please respond and ask me. Be specific. Tell me what slide and what problem you want. I'm just guessing, and maybe you wanted this slide. Okie dokie. All right, I'll have another video. This is just video from last night. I'll have one more for you to do, to take a look at, because that's the new lesson for the day. All right, folks, you take care. Bye-bye.